With the latest twist of the Libyan revolt, it's emerged that Colonel Gaddafi could have escaped from Tripoli a month ago in a state-of-the-art armoured vehicle. According to reports in Britain's Daily Mail newspaper, the Mercedes 4x4 was reportedly provided by the French government, with Nicolas Sarkozy giving the green light for the deal back in 2008. Interesting twist, this one. Let's talk about it more, shall we, with author of the article, journalist and political analyst Nabila Ramdani. She's joining us on the line, indeed, from London. Nabila, thanks for being on RT International. It's good to see you tonight. Now, just tell us more about this. It seems that Sarkozy provided Colonel Gaddafi, if what I'm saying is true, this very own getaway car. I mean, that, no matter how you look, it's quite ironic, given that France, given all the other NATO nations, wants to see him captured the most.
Well, absolutely. It's quite an extraordinary twist in this Libyan rebellion, and indeed a huge embarrassment for the French government, as it emerges that President Sarkozy sold in 2008 a £3.5 million car to Colonel Gaddafi, which has allowed him to escape. It's, as you said, a state-of-the-art armoured vehicle. It's equipped with a commander system which allows Colonel Gaddafi to keep in touch with his forces, but it's also equipped with an anti-tracking system which makes it impossible for NATO surveillance to pick up any signals and indeed to locate and target the car. So it's indeed quite ironic and indeed embarrassing for the French government. The deal was struck in 2007 when President Sarkozy was then Interior Minister, that's before he became President, a few months later. And as soon as he became President, he received Colonel Gaddafi himself in Paris for a 5-day state visit, where he gave him a tour of Paris, including to the Palace of Versailles. He dined him at the Ritz, and he allowed him to plant his tent just across the street from the Élysée Palace. And it was also an opportunity to strike very lucrative business deals. President Sarkozy was hoping to sell Colonel Gaddafi fighter jets, Rafale jets at the time, but the deal fell through when Colonel Gaddafi was able to buy those jets from Russia instead. But nonetheless, President Sarkozy was able to sell him this armoured vehicle, a Mercedes car 4x4, and indeed, as part of the deal, is a 25 million plus package, which also includes, provides the Libyan government, which means, would means to keep tabs on oppositions by controlling the email system of dissidents.
So what you're saying is huge double standards here, then. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it looks like it. I mean, the French government was all too happy back in 2008 to be in bed, if you like, with Gaddafi, until it didn't suit them anymore. Fair comment?
Well, absolutely, especially that these revelations come in the wake of a triumphant visit lately by President Sarkozy in Libya, where he was very much depicted in the French press as the liberator of Libya. He was nicknamed Sarkozy the Libyan, and his war was nicknamed Sarkozy's war. He was portrayed as the savior of Libya, while at the same time, of course, he's the one who did probably the most to keep Gaddafi in arms as anybody else.
Of course, the broader picture as well, I guess, it's not just France either, is it? I mean, NATO was selling weapons to Gaddafi. It's now allegedly providing the anti-Gaddafi fighters with arms. It's gone right in a full circle.
Well, very much so. The British government new revelations have come out as well, making it clear that the Tony Blair government was very close indeed to Gaddafi, and also extraordinary revelations came out showing that the MI6, which is the British intelligence service, were very helpful in handing over political dissidents based in the UK to Colonel Gaddafi to basically get tortured back home. So these are hugely embarrassing revelations for Western countries involved in this military adventure in Libya. And however to look at it, it's very hard to believe that they are getting involved militarily out of the goodness of their hearts. But of course, as we've seen lately, there was a Paris conference held where business interests were discussed. And the whole purpose of that meeting was, of course, to make the military adventure worthwhile and to discuss business opportunities involving the rebuilding of Libya with energy companies, telecom firms and construction companies from Britain and France in a very good position to get very lucrative business deals in post-Gaddafi Libya.
Nabila, while you're on the line there, just very briefly, because we're a bit out of time, the rebels are also said to be providing countries like France lucrative oil contracts in Libya. What's your comment about that? Fair payback, do you think, for NATO's help in getting rid of Gaddafi?
Well, I don't believe that's how world politics work. I don't believe in interference in internal affairs. But I think it will be up to the Libyans to discuss how they want to run their own countries. The National Transitional Council has made it clear that it wants to reward the countries who took a lead role in backing up the rebellion. But we also have seen resistance from jihadist movements who have called for the members of the National Transitional Council to resign and who are making it abundantly clear that they are determined not to let the West plunder their country's assets.
Really good to have you on the programme and get your thoughts on this very interesting story. Journalist, political analyst Nabila Ramdani from London, thanks ever so much.